solving quadratic equations by graphing. We learned in the previous lesson how to graph, and you can always double check your graph by the use of a graphing calculator or any website that can graph, and I recommend a website called Desmos. So Desmos is pretty easy to use, easier to use than other websites, and graphs a lot of functions that you require in high school. Now, could be looking like this. This is where you put the equation and the graph results on the right. Now, if I give you an example, x squared minus 3x minus 4, you just graph it and type it in. You can also use the factoring quadratic expression to solve the equations. Like we learned before, using factoring, if you want to factor this one, you're going to look for two numbers. The multiplication is 4 and the subtraction is 3. So it's simple, 4 times 1. You're going to put the 4 where the negative is because the answer is negative 3 in the middle. So if you equal this to 0, what makes this one go to 0 like we learned before? It's a positive 4, you're going to flip the sign, and negative 1. And those were actually crossing the x-axis. Negative 1 right here and 4 right there. So this is by factoring. But today's is about graphing. So the steps to graph is pretty easy. If I have to solve this equation, x squared minus 5x equal 24, you notice that it is not in the standard form because there's an equal sign here. So I need to make it standard form. So my first step is to make it equal to 0. There's a 24 here. How can I make this 124 go away? Basically, you're going to subtract 24 from this side. So you do the opposite sign. The result would be a 0 on the right, and the left I end up with the trinomial that we used to see, x squared minus 5x minus 24. So this leads us to the second step, which is you have to graph this expression, but you have to put y equals that. So you have to put y equals the left side, and this is my second step. My third is just to graph it and look where it crosses the x. So the graphing, like we learned before, or you can use the website I told you, Desmos. Now if you graph it from Desmos, you get a result like this, and you notice where it crosses the x, that's a negative 3 and 8. So simply, those are my solutions. Easy, easy. Now, what if I have something like this? P squared equals 30 minus 7p. You notice it's not in x, so you can put it easily in x. And you're going to have to move these to the other side to make it equal to 0. So this is pretty much the first step. There's a negative 7p and there's a 30. So to switch the sign, you're going to make it negative 30 and plus 7p. But what you do on one side, you have to do on the other. So the result on the right is 0. The result on the left is p squared plus 7p minus 30. Put it in the standard form. The second step is to graph it y equals and switch the p to x for easiness. So that would be x squared plus 7x minus 30. All you got to do now, use Desmos or graphing calculator to graph this equation. So the solutions would be where it crosses the x-axis. So if you graph it, you're going to notice that the negative 10 and the 3 are my solution. So it's pretty easy. Solve it, make it equal to 0, y equals the left side, graph it, and see where it crosses in the x, and those are my solutions to the equation given. Hopefully that helps. Thank you for watching.